Hi folks, welcome to my Bit Retro Journal. Today I'm playing around with graphics on my computers. I'm actually playing more with the QL than the Amiga. The picture you see there is actually on the Amiga, and I'm using that as a reference image. I have this actually hooked to a switcher so you can see that. That's my QL. And so on the QL, you can actually get an image that looks pretty close to this, believe it or not, even though in high-res mode, the QL, like the Atari, only has 4 colors: red, green, black, and white. And in low-res, it has 8 colors. But, you can really only combine them with dithering, which is very stipulated. So you don't really, those 8 colors are set. But there's a technique on the QL that was created by an individual over 10 years ago, which they labeled Dithvide. And I don't really know what that means other than it's got its origins on the spectrum. And basically what they do is they take 2 images and they kind of combine them in that they both sort of, a pixel in each image kind of occupy the same space so that you get sort of color bleeding, which is kind of interesting. Let me just show you this. So let me do MDV4 is actually the Turrican one. So if I go Turrican, then you gotta go Turrican 2M. And what is the M? Well, you have 3 modes. You can combine 2 low-res images. So basically 256 by 256 in 8 colors, 2 high-res. I'm sorry, low-res, high-res is 512 by 256, but you only get 4 colors, black and white being 2 of them, so there's no blue. And so it's limited. And then the mixed one is kind of cool because you can get the high-res, but you can combine the low-res to get some really cool colors. And so the Turrican one is going to be the mixed one, which is the most interesting one. And so what they're doing is they're relying on the refresh rate of the computer to occur fast enough so you don't see any, generally you don't see any blinking, but you have to choose the right color. So there's a little bit of an art in creating the 2 base images. It's not something that I don't think at the moment is you can auto-generate, but there are a bunch of images on the website, and I'll put a link on where you can see, find the description of this technique from the original creator. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to do mixed. And so what you'll see first is that the high-res image will be displayed, and that high-res image is going to be very red, black, white, and green because there's no blue. So that's what it looks like. But what you'll see is as soon as it does that, it mixes them. And so now you get kind of this much higher res, and it's shimmery, but it's like a and the shimmering part is actually because of the way the monitor is, it doesn't. I believe if I hook this through VGA directly, the shimmering wouldn't be as much, and it would be a better image. But yeah, so I think that actually compared pretty nicely to the Amiga one, and I have a few more images that I wanted to compare to. Let's run it one more time, and again you got it. And TU. I created this interface. It's not great. It's too much typing. I should have done a better job. And again, it's mixed mode. So again, the mixed mode means that the first image is the low res and the second image is the high res. It's the high res one you see. I'll show you what the low res image looks like as well, just so you can see that. And then we'll run through a couple more images. I have Doom and an R-Type. Yeah, so that's the now you combine it. And again, it's kind of cool to see this image compared to, I mean, this is obviously much clearer, but still, you're getting a little bit. And again, if you had this on a monitor, I think it would be less shimmering and it would look a bit more like that. Yeah. So let me actually let me do this. Let me show you what the So the first image is the low res. So if I go L bytes, MDV4, lots of typing. Turrican, 2M1, and I use their naming convention. I don't know why. These are just screen files. 131072 is the memory, and if you do that, you'll see that that's what the low res image looks like. So it's very, has the color, but it doesn't have the details. And so when you combine the two, you get sort of more of this with the shading and whatnot, right? So that's pretty cool. Let's run this again, and this time I'll show you a different image. MDV3, and here we have Doom. So what I need to do first and this is the one, maybe I can get a little bit of help if I do escape. Yeah, I'm running, the program is called ViewTech, not TKView. I think there was another one called TKView, so it's called ViewTech. But if I run Doom Big, you'll see that it is not the fastest program. So I'm going to have to just, I suppose, jump ahead. Yeah, you can see this is really slow. I don't know why it's so slow. I mean, it's doing JPEG translation, but yeah, it's not the best. So let's do this. Let me go back to the QL, and let's have this do its thing. So I got to type in DOOM. I think that's it. So this one's much better because yeah, and so. Because it doesn't say, I think this is mixed mode as well. Generally, the naming convention, there was an M for mixed, so yeah, so I think this is mixed mode, and then mixed. Unless it's low res mode, I think this is mixed mode. I think only R-Type, which is another visual, has both low res and mixed mode. But yeah, it's doing that's usually a sign when you see that there's something's about to load. Yeah, so this is mixed mode again. And again, this is the black and white, the high line 70 not found. Interesting. What was line 70? The second one. So DIR. MDV. Oh, right, because MDV3 is not one of mine. That's why. I understand now. Yeah, so MDV3 is not that. Yeah, let me run this again. Oh, out of memory. Yeah, so new. So it's only MDV4 through 8 that I did this on. MDV3 is the original Dithvide program from the original author, so that's why. So if I go lrun MDV, and I have time because I don't think this is loaded yet. Yep, still going. MDV4 boot. So yeah, that's why I didn't have the program that was running this boot program, but MDV3 is the original assembler and the assembly, etc. Out of memory. I think I'm going to have to reboot the machine back. And so this time, yeah, I didn't want to do that. So I just go out. And here we're going to lrun MDV4 boot. And so it's MDV4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, not MDV3 is just the original source code, and so it's not designed to run on an unexpanded computer. So I meant to say MDV5. My bad. Yeah, see, now it has Doom M for mixed, so that makes more sense. And then you just type Doom M. mixed. And this will work this time. And again, how's this guy doing? Oh, it's almost done. Okay, so I kind of fortuitous that I kind of had a typo. But, so it's going to start loading the picture. There it is. Get that ugly red and green. And then it's going to, it loads the whole thing, and then it goes into high-res mode. And it still, there it is. Yeah, so you have the picture. So there you go. You know, it's a little pinkish here, the red here, but definitely has the, it doesn't say the ultimate, but, you know, it's also the more stretched, but other than that, yeah, that's pretty cool. So back to the Amiga, I got one more, which is R-Type. And R-Type, again, the small ones are 320 by 200. The large ones are, or 320 by 256, and the large ones are 640 by, yeah, 256. So pick the big one, and this gives you a nice image. And again, I'm going to go back to the QL. And while this is loading, again, this is not even started loading. I think there might be some black. It's loading some black at the top. So it actually is loading. But if I go back to the QL, now if I go MDV 6, this one will have the R-Type. Yeah. So this one is low. So there's two that I have. I have the R-Type that's low, and then I have the R-Type that's mixed. So let's see both of them. R-Type. Low, and that's low res, and you'll see that what I'm going to do at the very end is I do have a monitor that I can hook this up to directly to RGB, which is about as good as VGA, and we'll be able to see how shimmery the picture still is. So this is going to combine two low-res images that are slightly different, and you'll see that you're gonna not have the fine resolution, but it looks, you know, it looks okay. Again, the artifacts of composite are really bad in this, but you'll see that the let's see what, yeah, it's still doing it. You can see though this doesn't have the mixed one is actually, I think, does better. All right, so let's do MDV. So we did 4, 5 was Doom, 6, so MDV 7 is the mixed version of that. Yeah, so this is R-Type. So this is R-Type mixed, and this is going to be mixed. And the mixed mode is going to look, I think it's going to look a little bit closer to this image. This is a nice image, but man, boy, that's taking a long time. But the R-Type one, yeah, again, you get this ugly high resolution black, white, red, and green one. But as soon as it mixes, yeah, so there you go. That's close to that. It's a little darker, obviously, but yeah, it's not bad. And so, I mean, considering that the QL just doesn't have that type of resolution, that's pretty fantastic. And you can see when it kind of stops doing the dithering, and there's a moment when you don't see the shimmering. And so, and again, I believe if you have again, I'm going to try my RGB monitor to see if I can not have the shimmering, but this is still loading. Let's do it one more time. MDV, so MDV, so yeah, MDV 7 was the mixed one. Yeah, R-Type. M and mixed. Let's see how the Amiga is doing. I think it's it. For whatever reason, that image was weird because it had the top and bottom cut off, because you can see that there's a little bit of the type missing. But I mean, it's a nice image because it's stable. But again, the fact that the QL just doesn't have those high colors, this dithering stuff is really cool. So now we get to see, yeah, it's pretty. I mean, if we got rid of the shimmering, I think that would be pretty impressive. The last thing to show you is I created two color palettes where I mixed every potential color, thinking that, hey, this would look really cool, not realizing that some colors you can't mix. It's going to start flashing a lot, and you'll see here, yeah. And so if I do, this is low, so I was just trying to do COLO or low. And then you just say low res. And you'll see that there's going to be lots of flashing. So it's not quite what I had in mind. But the last thing I'll show you after this is I'm going to hook out a high def monitor, and I think I'll try Turrican and R-Type. Yeah. So here you can see I'm loading all potential color combinations, and then I'm going to dither it. And you'll see what happens is there's going to be lots of flashing. I thought I'd just get a rainbow of new colors, and what you get is this, which is not very good. So I apologize for having to watch that. But yeah, what I want to do is, let's go over here. I'm going to hook the QL up to a bigger monitor to see what some of these look like, to see if we can get a more stable picture that's closer to that. That's not going through the, because of the dithering, getting the artifacts. All right, I got the big monitor set up. It actually gives a pretty nice picture. I'm going to type R-Type, R-Type M for mixed, and then do mixed. And I guess I recall now reading that one of the important things for this to work is actually it works best on CRTs because they tend to blend the colors better. On some monitors, it's just they're too precise and you don't really get that mixing effect. And you'll see that here, I think. I mean, it looks okay, and there's definitely no shimmering, but the images aren't quite as colorful as they were on the, yeah, so you can see this here. So it's not bad. I see some shimmering on the camera, but the picture is completely stable. But yeah, so it's a pretty rock solid picture. But you know, if you look up really close, you can see all the art. I mean, you can just see all the individual pixels. So it doesn't blend as nicely as when I had it on that smaller monitor. Maybe because it's also a big monitor. But yeah, let's just go down the list real quick. MDV. So that was 7. We'll do 6. That should be the R-Type low, and then we'll do Doom, and then we'll finish with Turrican, which I think was the worst. So this is going to be R-Type low, and that's low res. Yeah, I should have just had a menu choice instead of typing all this stuff. But this monitor is nice, but it's too big for using it on the QL, other than maybe if you play games. And again, this does give you SCART. This is a Samsung monitor from the UK. I don't know how we got it here, but I picked it up off a free cycle and kind of saw the SCART connector. And so this is going to do low res with low res, and you'll see that, yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Again, the shimmering on the camera is not what I see in person, so I don't know what's going on there. But maybe it's just a refresh rate with this monitor being from the UK. But yeah, let's do Doom next. So that was MDV5. A5. And this should be Doom M for Doom Mixed. And again, each of the MDVs holds 128K of memory. So the two images are about 32K each. So can't put another image on here, unfortunately, if you want to use the full screen. So Doom M. But still, it's pretty efficient. I mean, you're not using that much. 64K for higher resolution images is not bad. And again, I love when computers can do stuff that their original specs didn't. So getting higher color with this cool technique is pretty interesting. I mean, again, it's not perfect, but it certainly isn't going to beat the Amiga's images and color palettes, but still, it's better than not. And of course, there are projects out there that give QL higher resolution colors, but I still like to be able to do this with the original QL. And I think there's a game that actually uses this technique on the QL. It's an adventure game. All right, here's Doom, and yeah, okay, not bad. And then the final one will be, I think the Turrican one, when I tried to, so I had to convert these to screen files from, when I downloaded them from the website. The author had done the screen files for all of them except for Turrican. So I had to grab them as PNG files and then convert them. And the way I do that is I create a 100% JPEG and then use a Photon, which is a JPEG to screen converter. Problem is the high-res one was 411K and I ran out of memory. So I had to use 99% for the JPEG. So I might have lost a little bit something. And you only need to lose a little bit for the image not to be perfect. So perhaps that's one of the reasons this image is not great. I don't know, but it looked better, again, when I was doing composite on the small monitor. But let's see how this goes. TUCAN2M. And then it's going to be mixed. All right, last but by no means least, let's see what this gives us. It's going to do the ugly white, black, red, and green picture first. And I don't know how the author sort of decided to divide it up like that, but it's obviously, it takes a little bit of a thought. He does describe it on his page, but yeah, so you can see this is much more washed out. So this might be because of the way I grabbed that high-res image. I don't know, because it doesn't look as good as the other ones. But yeah, anyway, that's all I got for you today. So I hope you like this idea of these high-res images on unexpanded QL. So, let me know what you think about that. Little old 128K QL being able to do more than it was originally designed for. I think it's kind of cool. So anyway, I'm going to end here. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.